This is Sky Fire News, the best UFO show on the internet. Sky Fire News is on the internet. Sky Fire News. UFO show on the internet. Skyfire News is on the internet. Come look for it on TV, man. Sky Fire News. There's no use in running, he's already here. Richard Downey, I can't believe a thing he told me, but I can't stop listening closely to Richard Downey. Downey never told me a thing that I didn't think was real. Hold me when I'm lonely, so I remember how you feel. I found it even when I found out she was cheating. I took a jump room to Mars. I fought a mantis with a Martian crackhead who took me too far, and watched Barry Trump take the throne on Mars from me, and went right back to Richard Downey. I can't believe a thing he told me, but I can't stop listening closely to Richard Downey. Richard Downey.
Well, Jones was right again. God damn it. Are these aliens demons? Are they demons? Let me give you the gist of. For hundreds of years the Germans have been in contact with interdimensional beings. Please believe me. It's all a call, mind control, I know it, Joe. Trust me, bro, Alex Jones was right. Cause we grow, 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 Alex Jones was right.
Skyfire uses on the internet. Skyfire news.
I love that song. I love that song. Guys, welcome to Skyfire News Live. It's me, it's Red. We're giving you the UFO news live every day. There's been some things happening. As you guys know, Lou Elizondo's life was possibly threatened. The Vatican is coming out with a statement regarding apparitions, Marian apparitions specifically. That's going to be wild. I'm into it. We're going to be watching that too. The news actually drops 3 a.m. West Coast Standard Time, so we might be up watching that to get you guys the stuff like as it comes out. But we'll see how that goes. It's 3 a.m. for us. You know what I mean? What else happened? Joe Rogan had a very interesting guest on the other day, and it aired today. And they were talking about the simulation theory and how UFOs might actually back up the simulation theory, and vice versa. So if you're interested to see how that goes, I was too. We have all the clips for you today. We're going to watch those as well. Without further ado, Red Panda Koala, how you doing?
Doing good, Tupa. How are you?
I'm recovering.
You're recovering? Hell yeah.
I'm recovering.
You sound good. Sound
Thank
better?
you. Thank you.
Mm. Live stream Vatican. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do it, right, Tupa? It's late. It's going to be 3 a.m., but I mean, what if they're like, yo, this is all real? What if Grush comes out? Won't want to miss that. We should probably shout out the chat, too. Why not? What should we play? I like this upbeat song. Just shout out chat. Oh, we also have to do, too. Where we at?
I hate Skyfire News. I hate Tupacabra. I fucking hate Red Panda. And I hate Heather. Like, I genuinely hate them.
All right, chat. Let's see who's here today. Woo!
Harsh words.
Pizza Slayer says MH370 videos are real. Yeah, dude. I have to cover that tomorrow. Wasn't Ashton saying some major stuff or something? And I still don't know when we're going to talk to Trish actually. You still want to talk to her. There's so much stuff happening. There's so many subsections of ecology, right? Gotta keep tabs on it all. Skinner, there's a portal on Skinwalker Ranch. Alien Girl, friend of the show, got a new documentary coming out soon. Dancing, hell yeah. Rob the Great, lovely member. Skyfire. Anthony Jones, another member. Let's F and Go. Alana, another member. The triple member hat trick. Heart, saucer, fire, boom. Oh, Jamie, how's it going? Heart. Repanic Wallace says, woo, woo.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Derek Dougherty says, jazzercise time. Hell yeah. JP Mike says, daddy. Oh, hell yeah. Andrew, how's it going? He's dancing too. Hell yeah. Dan Freeman in the house. Let's go.
What's up, Dan?
Zim, hello everyone. Oh, we miss you on Twitter, Zim. Ghost 915 says, good evening, everyone. Ocean says, yes. Arthur Preston says, Jason Sands was right. About it for now. Okay, scrolling. Oh, Heather Birdie says, smack that like button. Oh, uh-oh. Where we at?
You know what time it is. Dan Freeman with the super chat. Let's go.
So
Let's
nowadays
go.
I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
Dude, what's your price, bro? What super chat do we need to get you twerking on stream?
600.
600? That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
600, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dan. Hell yeah, bro. Uh-oh. Where's the thing? And you're muted. Where are we at? We need a better, like, I wish you could have thumbnails for these things.
So nowadays I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
Hell yeah. Fred Herbert, $20 super sticker. Tupa, you're muted, bro.
Oh, yeah, I'm back. I'm back, baby.
Samuel Stone, hey, biggest fan of you all. Fred Herbert trying to outbid Dan Freeman.
Damn.
Marky Zabzak
It's
says,
a bidding war.
Where should we start, Tupa? Like you said, there's a lot of stuff going on. What do we got? Let's rerun it again. We got Timber Chet introducing legislation today. We kind of messed up a little bit yesterday. I apologize. And it sucks because Tupa, you're like, Red killed it. We didn't read Elizondo's full thing. We focused mainly on the death threats part. So that was the final part of a 4-piece statement. Although technically, the first 3 are kind of a separate thing than the death threat, right? So we'll definitely cover that again. Yes, there was that. What's the guy's name? Do you know it? Who was on Rogan?
I do.
And then I think there was like one more thing. Oh yeah, and then we're gonna hype up a little bit about Vatican. So pretty stacked day, pretty packed day.
Let's go to the Rogan thing. Let's start off there.
Let's start off there. So yeah, let's just go through all the clips, huh? Oh, Rizwan Verk. And who is this guy, Tupa?
He's an author. He the simulation theory, I think, is what he wrote, or the simulation hypothesis. He also is a video game pioneer. He's a theoretical guy. It seems that he's a deep thinker and well recognized and respected in many circles. Diana Pasulka considers him a friend, and the first sentence of the show was actually Diana Pasulka says hi, I think. So that's interesting.
From who to who?
Vivek, or sorry, Vivek. I was going to make isn't that funny?
One of us was going to do it. Hey-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay. So Rizwan. Okay, sorry. Yeah, Rizwan Verk is his name, and yeah, very interesting guy. Very, very interesting. When I went back and looked at like the kind of like stuff he wrote about and why he was like well respected, I wasn't really surprised to find out that he was in talks with these circles, right? Both whistleblowers, theoretical people, Gary Nolan, David Grush. Like he's talked with these people, very close. He's actually part of the Soul Foundation tertiary,
right? Yeah,
right?
I think we're gonna
and the Galileo Project. So
pretty much all the scientific organizations, right?
yeah, all the academic endeavors into UFOs and UAPs, he's in the mix. So
That's
Very
cool.
interesting.
Yeah, and it sounded like a really good combo. We had some great clips out today. Should we play the first one? Let's just run through all the clips. You know what it is. You know what it is. And we love Rogan around here. Boom. The king. He's the one who's actually going to bring the world disclosure, huh?
For sure. No doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
Like, we always think the president giving a speech, sure. But I also think the president has to go on Rogan and, like, talk this through, right?
Definitely. Well, ever since it was suggested that the presidential debate should take place on the Rogan show, I can't help but think that's the obvious choice. Not necessarily the Rogan show, but the idea of sitting down long form conversation as opposed to these like weird pre-written, you know what I mean, prescribed kind of like packets of like information. It's
So
cheesy. It's so fake. It's too old school. We want to know who these people really are without their writers and their staff around. But will we ever be given that access? I don't know.
So, yeah. All right, here we go. Clip 1 of Rizwan on Rogan.
All the UFOs.
So that, by the way, that was funny when I saw this clip on Skyfire. I was like, damn, Joe. Dude.
You're making noise over there.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, that was the first clip, right? He's in communication with Joe Rogan. Makes sense. I mean, he's
I predicted that on the show like earlier this week.
yeah, and
I
mean,
literally said that. Yeah,
Gary
for sure.
Nolan's talking to Tucker. Gary Nolan's talking to King Milkfart. Gary Nolan's talking to. Yeah, and then there's a few of them. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, oh, that's what I was gonna say too. We always talk about how weird it is for like UFO media people getting psyoped, and congressmen probably have their own weird psyop stuff they're dealing with. Imagine what this weird psyop stuff Joe Rogan's dealing with, right? You got Jeremy Corbell in one ear, Gary Nolan in the other, Lou Elizondo calling people live on your show.
That's a good point.
He's in the mix, dude. And he talks to, yeah, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's connected. Here's our next clip from Rizwan. Joe Rogan's a little crazy, a little talking there. So he's talking about, and this guy you said is all about simulation theory. And what do you think about simulation theory, by the way?
Yeah, it's a valid theory.
Just the idea that this is a simulated universe and the probability of living in the real base universe versus one
like
of infinite simulated ones is like you're more likely to live in a simulated universe.
Yeah, and this guy also like talks about the idea that multiple universes, multiple versions of the same thing, multiple timelines are running simultaneously. He thinks that's how sophisticated it probably is. So
He's like all in on simulation theory. He's like,
it seems like it, and there's a lot of evidence that he backs up. I mean, it's there, it's in the observation. There was a researcher, I think at Google, who found out that that he not at Google, sorry, astronomer who discovered that there's like a similar code to the universe that's in a search engine, right? That's in a search engine. So I think that's super fascinating, right? So all this weird kind of information that comes through. Dan Freeman with another super chat.
Nowadays I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
The price is set. The price is set, Dan. We can negotiate off camera.
My granny says you need to twerk for 100 at most. Disclosure at 600.
Disclosure, that's the cheapest. If disclosure came that cheap, whatever I say for 600, dude, don't even, you know what I mean?
Dude, Danny's granny sees through them tupa scammies.
Oh, whammy, dude. Okay, so, dude, love the simulation theory for real. But thanks.
Also, too, I was gonna say was what he said about the Tic Tac too. I find interesting because there is that element of it where it's like it almost seems like the Tic Tac or whatever these things are like playing the game, or like we exist within the simulation, we exist within Grand Theft Auto, but they're like the cursor. They could do whatever they want. They can move from point A to point B. You know what I mean? So I've heard this theory before, connecting UFOs to simulation theory. Also, when I first learned about simulation theory in like 2016, I think that was like my first like mind F before UFOs, right? When I first learned about it, I was like, holy crap. I was like in my head for like a month, like thinking about it.
I mean, when you play video games like GTA, take like a obvious, like, popular one, like, how different is it from like life, right? Like the idea that there's you're a projection or something else could be controlling you. or I mean, that the world around you is simulated. What do you really know? What do you really see? And you got like Donald Hoffman popping in and being like, our brain and our consciousness is just interpreting signals and projecting them to ourselves in a way that we can understand, but that's not it's most definitely not true. It's just something. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that backs it up, and it is kind of a mind f.
Yeah, and I feel like you hear even Tom DeLonge and like that crowd speak on some of it, even though it's like basically from a Gnostic point of view or whatever, but this like idea that all of reality is a projection from like a single point type deal. You ever hear that in UFO circles? So I feel like that kind of goes, maybe doesn't go hand in hand with simulation theory.
Well, one way to look at it, and this is why I think people like video game designers, why he would like see it this way, right? There's so much truth to it. When you look at 3D world, let's go back to GTA or Minecraft or something. You're walking around. Once you watch the screen, you're kind of in the screen, and you're really just watching pixels. Okay, so what? Well, all those are literally just code. It's all just code. So, in a way, this code exists. It doesn't even exist at all. It's like there's no physical distance between the digits and the code, right? There's no real physical. It's in another flat land, right, where space and time are even a real thing. All that stuff is produced by the code itself. And you got these like people, even like Dave Foley mentioned this on Joe Rogan,
Friend of the show.
Right? But that the universe is like that. That's what the idea of spooky action at a distance is. How can these things react to one another if they're across the universe from each other? The idea that there is, it's proof maybe that there is no physical distance between anything. We're all probably a computer code. That our brain is interpreting. What do we got?
Alana, remember, do it.
So nowadays I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
Love it.
Tupa, the people need it, bro. They need the Tupa twerk video.
Oh wow. Listen, I don't know what kind of show you guys thought this was. It's a family show.
It's a family show, exactly. All right, here we go. Here's the last one that was pretty interesting. This is like a trust me, bro. But let's guess. We're gonna play the guessing game with the trust me, bro. Right? Don't those two go? They go hand in hand. 4 people or maybe 5. That's kind of a weird one to be like. I don't remember if it was 4 or 5, but
haven't thought about it in a while. Anyway.
That we're on the reverse engineering program. So you have any guesses? Does the chat have any guesses which 4 people Rizwan met that were part of the reverse engineering program, as he claims, or at least that?
Yes.
Who's he talking about? We're not going to say for sure that they were or not, but who's your guess? Tupa?
I'll guess. Do I have to guess all 4? Or can I just throw one name? What do you
throw
want?
a name? We could do it collaboratively.
Eric Davis.
Okay, maybe. I think Lukatsky. Honestly, I don't know if Lukatsky said some stuff like he's seen like the whole of a UFO.
Lukatsky.
Eric Davis hasn't really said that. You think Bob Lazar is one of them?
David Grush is one of them.
David Grush wasn't on the reverse engineering program, Tupa.
That we know of. No, I'm playing. Okay. No, he actually mentions Grush by name later. He really does. But I mean, do you think these people are out? Could it be Jason Sands?
Let's see. Okay, here we go. The chat's got some. Rick Roberts says Bob Lazar, John Lear, Phil Schneider, Corey Good, and maybe Emery Shitz. That's funny. Celebrating the fact I just survived the Hellstorm. Hell yeah, we're glad you're alive, Alana. Arthur, friend of the show, says Jim Semivan, Hal Pudoff, Eric Davis, James Lukatsky. Probably. I bet you they're on that Green Street image of the circle, right? At least half of them, right? Zim says Tim Taylor. That's a good guess. Dan Freeman says, they are probably a set of futurists we will hear about in the future. They are probably other game designers. Interesting. And yet, that's like, so he was a game designer and then became the simulation theory dude, and now he's into UFOs. That's who this guy is?
Yeah, into UFOs, I don't know. But he knows a lot. He knows a lot. Like, he wasn't, when he talked about it, he was never super hyped. He was just more interested in how, and this is my one take, I've never heard him talk before, but he was very interested in how this correlated his theories into the simulation theory. How, like, these UFOs could represent something in that realm, which I've talked about many times, right? The idea that these UFOs seem to have admin powers, right? They do stuff differently. In this interview, I didn't want to clip every single thing, but there's a lot in there, and so we'll be clipping it as we go, maybe like over the next couple days. But he talks about how he spoke with Jacques Vallée and Gary Nolan, and Jacques was telling him about one case where in southern Oregon or northern California, where there are redwood forests and really tall trees along narrow roads, which is a great thing to have in your area if you haven't, live it up. But how a UFO came down a 45-degree angle onto the road, and it left like marks there, or whatever. So they went and checked it out, and I think it was Jacques who asked, like, "Hey, if the UFO came down at a 45-degree angle, it would have had to cut through these trees, but there's no damage to the trees. Like, what happened?" And they're like, "Look, dude, like, we don't know." And that's one of the weirdest parts about this we didn't really want to talk about, is because we don't know how it happened. We definitely saw it happen. And you know what that's exactly like? The opening scene of Chains of the Sea.
Wait, what happens in there again?
So in the opening scene of Chains of the Sea, which is a book recommended by Lou Elizondo because of maybe multiple concepts, the book Chains of the Sea deals with aliens landing on Earth and humans not being able to communicate with them, and they use AI in order to do it. And what the AI does and discovers is wild, right? But so yeah, interestingly, there's a little a connection there. But off the top of my head, Chains of the Sea basically says when the aliens arrived. That's how it starts. And it describes the ships coming down onto the planet, and how a lot of people saw different things. Not everyone saw the same thing. And if you were in a thing, the ones that were recorded landing, right, these ships that were actually recorded with a video, they recorded odd things. So no one could determine, is kind of like the vibe, that like if it either fell down or flew down or left a trail of itself, like it came down in one solid, like almost like a pillar, and then the pillar disappears and there's like one 2D slice of it left, and that's the ship. But the way it arrives is very weird, high strangeness, and interdimensional in nature. And so that's what the case that caught Rizwan's attention there. So yeah, there's a lot of simulations there, or similarities.
Cool.
Sorry.
How long until Gary Nolan, 1, is on Rogan, and 2, blocks Rogan?
2 months.
How about Carl Nell?
$13 weeks.
And how about Lou Elizondo?
Never.
You don't think he'll ever go on Rogan?
No. I don't.
You think it would have happened by now, right? Like everyone else has been on.
I honestly can't imagine a scenario where Lou Elizondo hasn't been hit up by Gary Nolan's people. Right? Or sorry, Joe Rogan's people. Why wouldn't Joe Rogan have reached out to Lou already? I'm sure he did. But as we know, we've heard from people that like Elizondo won't do a show unless there's like specific agreements that happen beforehand, which are like questions and whatnot and topics. And I think that's interesting.
I'd love to see Lou on Rogan, by the way. That'd be sick. Honestly.
Lou on Rogan would be great. I just don't see Rogan playing ball with those stipulations.
He has been very much like it's all a psyop, huh? Right? I feel like he started off like, oh, this is so sick. And now he's very much like it's all a psyop. Da, da, da. All right. Well, should we get to the next news story? You got one ready for you? Ready? You ready for this? Where we at? Boom. Uh-oh. So, yes, this happened today. Oh, it's going to do it like this? Okay, let's make a speaker this way. Boom. So, Timber Chet introduced a bill today. Did you see this, Tupa? Timber Chet friended the show.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. This is very interesting.
So, this is a House resolution. Oh shoot. Uh-oh. Hold on. I have something on my screen making noise, and I don't know what it is. Okay, boom. Gone. Boom. Gone. Boom. All right, there we go. Okay, so Hero of Disclosure Tim Burchett introduced this bill today, which is just a bill, or so it's not a law. Everyone go watch what's that called, Schoolhouse Rock, to get up to date on that. Friend of the
Facts.
show. So let's read it. A bill,
Enhance.
a bill to require the release to the public of all documents, reports, and other records relating to unidentified anomalous phenomena, and for other purposes. Be it created by the Senate and House Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled. Section short title. This act may be cited as the UAP Transparency Act. Thoughts on the title, UAP Transparency Act?
They should really use UFO.
Right? That's what I think every time I hear UAP. I'm like, come on, guys.
They're kind of slacking there.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, we respect the effort. Section 2. Public availability of certain information related to unidentified anomalous phenomena. No later than 270 days after the date of the enactment of this act, the President shall direct the head of each federal department or agency in possession of documents, reports, or other records relating to unidentified anomalous phenomena to declassify and make available on a publicly available website of each such department or agency all such documents, reports, or other records. No later than 360 days after the date of the enactment of this act, and quarterly thereafter. Ooh, that's interesting. I feel like we've heard similar language in previous UAPDAs. The President shall transmit to the Committee on Oversight and Accountability of the House of Representatives and the Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs of the Senate a report detailing the progress toward implementing subsection A made by each federal department and agency. So they have to be constantly reporting. And C, in this section, the term unidentified anomalous phenomena has meaning given such term in section 1683 of the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2022. And I believe that was the one. Was that the one that made Arrow? That might have been the one that made Arrow. But that was like already what, 2 years ago. So yeah, thoughts on this Stupa? I mean, it's kind of like it's better than nothing, right? It kind of seems like a for show thing, or like I don't know how far this is gonna go. Maybe it's more of like a symbolic kind of thing, is what I'm trying to say. You feel me?
Yeah, I can see that. I could see how it could be that way for sure. But I don't know. I like Tim Burchett. I think he's kind of a no nonsense guy. So I don't know if he would do that. I want to believe that he would like just if he didn't believe it would do anything, he wouldn't put it out there. But maybe he sees it as a first step to something else. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays into his strategy. But I trust the guy. I think he wants the best for the American people. So.
Dude, yeah, I might have to buy like a Tim Burchett shirt or something, because he is
I'll
out
make
here.
one.
Oh, there you go. He is out here like doing a lot, man, doing a lot. So good for him. All right. I guess next we should go to this Lou statement, right? That's about it for the Tim Burchett thing. We're running through it today.
Tim, we're watching you. We got your back, dog. You and Luna. And
So-
Matt Laszlo.
Let's
He
read
seems
the
to be in the
full
mix.
statement. Yeah, hell yeah, Laszlo. Hell yeah, bro. We gotta get him on soon too. Okay.
So this is it, huh?
You want to take it? Or are you still sick?
I think Logan should have Neil deGrasse Tyson read it. No, I'm playing. Yeah, I got this. I wish I could do a killer Lou impression, though. That'd be sick. When people first inquired about my story, the Pentagon initially confirmed my role in ATIP and the focus of its efforts. Shortly after Secretary Mattis left the department, the Pentagon changed its tune by saying all my emails had been deleted. The same emails that would substantiate not only my claims, but many of those who were part of the ATIP effort, including one of its sponsors, the late Senator Harry Reid. Later, when confronted with a FOIA request, the Pentagon denied again the existence of any email or correspondence between me and other seniors within the department whom I was regularly engaged with until the day I left the Pentagon in 2017. Recently, one of my emails was leaked by an unknown person on Reddit. Interesting. This time, when the Pentagon was challenged with the existence of the email, in this case,
69. I'm just kidding.
in this case, one that was that described the authorized transfer of ATIP leadership responsibilities to another senior member of the department and endorsed by the Secretary of Defense front office. They were forced to admit that this email existed and was not deleted as they previously claimed. Begrudgingly, when the Pentagon finally did release the email, proving my role and participation in ATIP, the Pentagon decided to redact the mention of ATIP, citing FOIA exemptions. By this logic, they would also have to redact the name Arrow by any other office at the Pentagon. And any other office at the Pentagon. Interesting.
Oh, is that? Sorry. I'm like,
it's like so long-winded.
it's a lot. It's a lot. It was a long one.
It should also be noted that the Pentagon's mouthpiece for this is one individual within the Public Affairs Office who has been given sole authority to handle all FOIA requests involving UAPs, Arrow, ATIP, and specifically me. All this information is in the public sphere and can be easily verified thanks to the works of certain private citizens fighting for increased government transparency through the FOIA process. Simply put,
was that a shout out to Lou Jimenez? Maybe.
Greenwald, maybe?
Okay.
So weird. This is so weird. Okay. Simply put, you in Congress continue to be lied to by a few at the Pentagon who prefer to view you and the American people as sheeple.
I thought this was kind of wild, right?
Make no mistake, the Pentagon Public Affairs Office has a long history of feeding misinformation to certain questionable journalists to mislead the public, the American public. This is weird. And that relationship is alive and well today and is in fact now legal through a new and disturbing policy of perception management.
What do you think he's saying there? You think he's talking... Because, you know, the Luke Crew camp always...
We talked about perception management like earlier this week.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But he's
so weird.
he's calling out Susan Goff here, right? He's saying that she's the only one who could do it. And then he's saying the Pentagon mouthpiece is feeding information to selective journalists, and that still continues today. Is that a dig at Green Street, you think? Right? And maybe even a little Greenwald. Well, because you have to think, right? Every FOIA that comes through Greenwald's thing related to this these days, apparently, per Lou, and I think it's right, unless it's like a specific department, but especially for stuff pertaining to Lou Elizondo, ATIP, all that stuff, goes through Susan Go. So he hates Susan Go. Susan Go is probably one of the top bad bosses for like the Lou crew, right?
Why is that? I know nothing about Susan Go. Why is that? Why is she? And if it's not too much of a departure, we can revisit it. But I'm always wondering, what did she do to this man? Even Cahill, he's like, if your last name has Go, Wald, Green, duh, in it, it's very, very trippy. They hate this woman.
Yeah, because she's well, like it says there. Look, it should be noted that the Pentagon's mouthpiece for this is one individual within the Public Affairs Office who has been given sole authority to handle all FOIA requests involving UAPs, Arrow, ATIP, and specifically me. All of this information is in the public sphere and can be easily verified thanks to the work of certain private citizens fighting for increased government transparency. So he's singling her out. Like she's the reason why there's even a question if Lou Elizondo ran ATIP in his mind, basically. That might be the most succinct way of putting it, because she's the one who's in control of all the information related to him and ATIP. So
they really go after her.
But like I said, people wanted to give us stuff, and honestly, the news broke right before yesterday's story.
So nowadays I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
Shout out to Estimate of the Situation. He's in that scene. Thank you, Sue.
We're squashing the beef, Sue.
Yeah, we're squashing it.
Hell yeah.
Wait, you had beef with Sue?
Sue had beef with us. Remember?
Wow, Sue. Yeah, I blew it.
So honestly, like these were, and then it goes into the one we covered yesterday, which honestly might be worth reading again. You want to take it or should I? Oh,
I'm in the mix. To add insult to injury, I was notified yesterday that there may be a personal threat against myself and several other whistleblowers formerly associated with the UAP effort for the U.S. government. As such, I would like to make this perfectly clear to the American people. I am not prone to accidents. I am not suicidal. I am not abusing drugs. And I am not engaged in any illicit activities. And my beard's not weird. If something happens to me or my family members in the future, you will know what happened. I think that's interesting. What happened?
So,
What
and
was
like I
said?
said, this one, honestly, these seem like two separate things, but I feel like he's linking them together, right? Like, it's like we're talking about FOIA releases. We're talking about that. It's like, is he trying to connect Susan Goff to these threats, do you think? Do you read it that way?
Not until now.
Or like you said in a space too, right? And like we got to do the disclaimer. Obviously, we want no one harmed. We want, if this is true, I'll be driving out to Wyoming and joining the human chain around Lou Elizondo's house, right? But it does add it's an interesting thing to like put out a piece of information and then kind of end it with this like emotional appeal, which honestly kind of is, right? Like, so now it's like we're not allowed to maybe criticize any of the stuff above that without kind of seeming insensitive to these threats against his family. Do you get what I'm saying?
If that's the strategy, that's a very interesting one.
And I'm not saying that's even what's happening, but these do feel like two different statements, to me at least. I mean, I guess if you're just going to get it all out, if this literally happened, it makes sense. But I don't know. He seems angry. He seems I'm nervous, honestly. This makes me uncomfortable. And honestly,
what makes me uncomfortable?
Hmm.
That he released this to Matt Ford so Matt Ford could release it. I think that makes me uncomfortable personally.
Yeah, and because like I said, it makes me uncomfortable because either this this mother is gonna, like, people are literally actively trying to murder Lou Elizondo and his family, or right, that's not happening, and then for whatever reason this is like some kind of emotional appeal for something, maybe rally the base, maybe. I mean, someone in a space yesterday was saying that speaks with Doty, right? And people hate Richard Doty. That there's all these different groups, right? Rick Doty's kind of in a group. Elizondo, Mellon, it's kind of a group. And that a bunch of these different groups were basically like, after this air report, they're all pissed that like, oh, it looks like the government's going to put it back on the lid back on things. And people realize that there's a lot of momentum here. And if it dies down now, it might be like 50 years before there's another like solid push like this. So they were saying that this week, basically, they're going to be going like balls to the wall with disclosure. And some guy who knows Doty was speculating that maybe this is what that was about. But still, the timing is weird. What did Lou do that would cause these threats? Was it Jason Sands, you think, Tuba? Or was it, people are also speculating that it was Kirkpatrick getting busted in that meeting? You know what I mean? What was the trigger for these threats? And I'll play again, too. Here's a game.
Very brief.
Friend of the show talking about James Fox also this week. And I did see the evidence provided to show that these dams did happen. And James did say multiple people within the circle have been getting these threats. So let's just listen to this again.
On James Fox, because I haven't talked to him and I haven't told him that I was going to talk to publicly about this. But I talked to James just a couple weeks ago. And I'll tell you from my standpoint why I was talking to him. I was talking to him because I'm coordinating an interview with him prior to his release on his new film. That's why I was talking to him. And I was strategizing with him about that. Now, when his responses were very telling, and Fringe and Logan, I sent those to him only to give you guys an understanding that what I'm saying is verified, it's confirmed. But there are death threats on these UFO whistleblowers. And I'm not talking about the David Grush circle. I'm talking about in other circles too. And they're very serious. This is not something that is
Uh-oh.
So nowadays I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. They getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
So yeah, no, remember, that's Game Tech Politics, friend of the show. And I think he has good sources usually. So, and I did see the message from James saying that, like, hey, I'm getting threats, and as are many others. So we got James Fox and Lou Elizondo both saying that they're getting threats this week. Beats and Meats, thank you for that $10 super chat. Don't you guys remember the senator in the 80s who wrote a bill against the CIA, and they raided his home and dragged his wife into the street and stuck a gun in her mouth, told her to kill the bill? I've never heard of this, Tupa. Have you?
No. Beats and Meats. Hit us with that name. We're going to look this up in the background. If we can come up with it before the show's over, we will talk about it. This is wild.
But
Senator in the 80s were a Wild West in many ways.
Live chat, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of this threat? Who's threatening Lou? Is this a real threat? Is it just some trolls? Is it the skeptics? Is it the government? Is the Department of Energy? Is it a book sales ploy?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Let's watch this. Here was Matt Ford and Ross Coulter yesterday when this broke on the Good Trouble show, both friends of the show. Here's some of the stuff that Ross Coulter was saying about, because he's also been hearing this, right? So,
G'day, Matt. How are you? I'm shocked by what Lou and you have revealed today. That is quite something.
It is quite something. And what is your reaction to all of this?
Okay, it's very hard to overstate the implications of what Lou has told you today. I've known about some of what Lou's talked about there for some time. I'm amazed he's gone public with it, and I'm very happy to see he's finally done this, because frankly, I think a lot of this needs to be brought out into the open, because a lot of whistleblowers are being intimidated, threatened, and possibly worse. Now, what we're looking at here is, as you've pointed out, a clear breach of Executive Order 12333.
okay, this is kind of a long clip. I just wanted to play the intro of that. Maybe there's a little more down here. Let's see. If not, screw it. Somebody in the live chat, who was it? Xpub says Boeing. Yeah, that's something that's happening right now. And there's some good discussion about this last night too, where it's like, bro, look at what they're doing for Boeing, like for like planes falling, like doors falling off planes, right? They're out here murking people. They're definitely murking people for UFO stuff. And like we covered yesterday, we covered that one whistleblower with Mellon, and we also covered Grush's statements on people being killed. You know what I mean? So it's definitely part of the thing, but it's also definitely something that somebody could weaponize. Although with James Fox saying it too, like, unfortunately it validates it more, I'd say. But I would like to hear more. And like we said yesterday, dude, I think it'd be in the best interest of everyone for more info about like what these threats are coming from, who they're coming from. Let me see.
I agree, Red. We need more info. Not to do detective work on our own. I don't want to investigate this, but obviously we'll be covering it as in depth as we possibly can. But I want to leave the investigation itself up to the professionals. I mean, it would just be, what if other people are being threatened by the same way?
Exactly. We could literally save lives with more information, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, we know that there's people in the community who are already trying to push people over the edge. That's their own language, right? They have no real consideration for the mental health or well-being of certain people if they just don't share the same view as them or don't fall in line in the same way. So,
Froggy has some good points here. Oh, well, Lou is bullshitting about being threatened, but then they say this. Did Lou file a police report? If he did, that would be on public record. What do you think about that, Deepa?
I don't think he did. I don't know. It's strange that this comes after, Kirkpatrick saying like, oh, like my life, I felt threatened. People showed up to my house, right? I get calls, I was harassed, all this stuff. He went on like a media tour, and even Corbell responded to it, right? Like zero to Jeremy. Classic song, you know what I mean? of the summer. But I don't know. This could. I'm not saying it's like. How do I put this? Maybe the timing of talking about these threats is strategic, but the threats themselves might be valid. They might have really come in, but it might have been a long time ago. It might not have been right now, right? These might be things he's been dealing with for a year. We don't know.
Rick Roberts says, I think Lou's statements should have been made in person instead of a statement. The way he presents the statement would give validity. Lou has caused drama in the background. Example, how Fessler cowered. I mean, should we go there, Chupa? Since yesterday we kind of did, or should we?
Yeah, let's go there.
Okay, let's go there. So the reason why I'm just spreading precaution is because this Gary the Brave stuff, and I guess just really quickly, just because we don't want to like spend too much time on this, but we're definitely gonna piss some people off with this one. But we're telling the truth. So in 2022, and here's the gist of it. In 2022, when Manny 503 came out with his documentary, Who's Lou? And when Lou Jimenez and Rather Be Squidding asked Lou Elizondo about the sock puppet account faceless bureaucrat, there was this narrative and this push that like Lou and his family were actively being attacked, and that definitely riled people up, and that definitely was directed at people who might not have been like. I personally think Gary and people like this thought they were fighting whatever threat Elizondo's talking about in his most recent statement. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys can go read this. We'll zoom in a little bit more, but it's basically just someone who is on the Fessler show, which Rick Roberts is talking about here. They gave 2 testimonies to Lou Jimenez and to John Greenwald. He has since publicly recanted the one on the left here after months of being missing, which I personally don't believe, but he still never addressed this one on the right. Basically just saying that like there's a Lou crew and they do target people, and you get worked up, and he literally says he was promised things by Lou to go help defend Lou and his family from people that were attacking Lou and his family. So that's why I'm just like, spread caution. Like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on this angle. We're going to monitor this for sure. But like, there is like literal historical precedence, right, Tupa? Of like,
yes.
You know what I mean? I wish there wasn't. But there's literal historical precedence of like alleged threats against Lou and Lou's family. And Lou Reviews and Manny and all these people, everyone looked for like anyone threatening his family, and like no one could find it. Right? So it was like, it was just an interesting thing, interesting time. And I do actually think, though, that's like what is responsible for a lot of maybe the craziness we see in our community. Because like, look at Lou's mental state right here. And I'm not even saying it in a bad way. Like, this could be a very real thing, right? But the mental state it puts you in, like you're like on edge, right? And you're almost paranoid. You have to be, right? If people are actively trying to kill you. And I think sometimes people, like, there'll be responses to this kind of paranoia, this kind of threat, and sometimes like random everyday people like get hit with that response, if that makes sense. But like I said, this worries me. Pray for Lou. I'm praying for Lou, whichever way it goes. Like I said, it's either someone's actively trying to murder Lou and his family, or honestly, let's just go with, let's say that's not happening. What is this?
With a lie detector test determined that was a lie.
It's just hypothetically, and I'm not even saying it's not, but like somebody had made the point that this sounds like somebody who might actually be like suicidal or something like that, like the way they're talking. So I hope Lou's in a good mental health state. Hope he's feeling well, hitting the gym, getting swole, staying armed. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't get that vibe from Lou at all, Elizondo,
What?
that he could be suicidal. You know, not at all. I don't think this is a cry for help. I see this, you know, either again, you know, I have to say this. It's not okay to threaten anyone's life. It sucks if he's really feeling threatened in that way. If he was really notified a day before he wrote this that that there may be a personal threat against him, and I'm assuming his personal safety. That's when he says personal. I'm assuming that's what he means, his physical self. That's that's unacceptable. This is America. You don't do that stuff. There's laws against that. We protect each other. We love whistleblowers. Lou's done a lot for the community. Whatever criticisms people might have of his goatee, that doesn't mean that he should be threatened, and we should accept that.
And definitely not his family.
Hell no, not his family. If anyone levies a tax on someone's family because of something that's going on in the UFO community, whatever. I think that's shameful as hell. But I have seen it get kind of down and dirty before. And so wouldn't be surprised there, right? But as the story we've been covering with Kirkpatrick, right, and Arrow and Nadia Drake, these things that are occurring where they've been talking about harassment for like a year now, and threats, and Kirkpatrick was visited. Someone showed up to his house. Now, why do I bring him up so much is because Elizondo has straight up, targeted Kirkpatrick and said he's a guy who's like, he's lying. And Jeremy Corbell dropped a track, Zero to Jeremy. And like, it was all about, Kirkpatrick being a piece of dog shit. Like he fucking went after his neck. You know what I mean? And that was intense. So these guys are happy to like pile on and watch their most devoted followers, devout, if you want to use that word, do things that might be derogatory, like things like that. Like, and so in that sense, like what's happening here might be a clapback to saying, hey, this is happening to me too. Maybe they're going to stop it soon. Maybe this is going to amp it up. But, I can't help but see this as part of a Lou camp versus Kirkpatrick camp or Go camp, whatever he wants to. He's always on the opposition of something else. And so this might just be that.
Yeah, and again, we want Lou's safety, his family to be safe. Trust Material in the chat says, James Fox, just like Elizondo, has content coming out. I try to follow the money from time to time, but maybe I'm just being too cynical. Yeah, I mean, he definitely does have a book coming out. Logan Black says, best show on earth. We love you, Logan. Zim says, Pasolka said Intel people showed up at her work home, too. And that's totally a thing. Like I said, that's the thing. Like, it's a real thing. Mm-hmm. And that's why and that's how you get people like Gary and others and Rob Heatherly and all these people, because they really think they're fighting the deep state. And sometimes maybe they are. But we just got to be careful because, like, everyone just has, like, an initial emotional reaction. Be like, screw this, right? But you just want to be calm. Like, false flags are a thing, separate of any UFO stuff, right? Like, the emotional false flag to, like, get you to go in on something is totally a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Roberts says, it sounds like Lou gets upset if people don't go with his threat narrative and gets offended when people push back. There are a lot of questions. Was Lou the push that made Tom DeLonge sound like a crazy? Interesting. Ocean, the only news I watch. Let me see. Superwater. Statements via all these podcasts are sus, and reek of scratch my back, I'll get you views. Yeah, and I hope he filed a police report. Hopefully he's talking to, like, Congressman Burchett or something about it, too. Hopefully, I think he should go on News Nation, right? I feel like this is the kind of thing you make noise about, is it not? So, like, to do it kind of weirdly.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why is a little weird.
That's why I think it's weird. It's a very serious thing to bring up on Matt Ford. You know what I mean? To me, it's so serious, and to not even record a video of yourself talking about it. So this is like,
yeah, I agree with the chat. They're like, this should have been a video message.
Yeah.
Like, hey everyone, Lou Elizondo here.
This reminds me of him calling Thomas Fessler while he was live. Say this. Like this seems like.
Yeah.
So it's like low. This is low vibration to put it through. Oh shit, we got a super chat.
So nowadays I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready.
I hate Skyfire News. I hate Tupacabra. I fucking hate Red Panda, and I hate Heather. Like,
have patience on me. Don't give up on me. I'm on cosmic time.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Jamie. Keep up the great work, X-Fam. Woohoo.
Thank you, Jamie.
Okay, let's see. Is there any other... Lou seems pretty upbeat on Twitter lately for someone whose life's been threatened, LMAO. That's another good point I saw people making, right? Like, he's out here clapping back at people. He's in bars. He's doing, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, but I will say also, like, this topic, the subject is dirty, bro. People hella die over this stuff. So there's definitely someone who, like I said, they're killing Boeing whistleblower. It's a gray area right now, right? We're in the middle of it. We don't know which way this is going to go. We want to be respectful of people, but also like we want to follow the evidence. It's kind of a trust me, bro. Is it not?
It 100% is. If I got online and was like, yo, my life's been threatened, people were like, yo, show me the receipts. Prove it. You know what I
Right?
mean? Like
Yeah.
people typically question, this kind of stuff. So, there is this history too, that you see sometimes people do. I'm not even going to talk about it. We'll go into another story about Richard Butt tomorrow. We'll figure out who this mystery character
Mark
is.
Kyle says Lou does not usually bullshit. He puts out what he knows. I personally believe he has heard there is a threat. And honestly, like we heard from James Fox could have just been the one to tell him, right? James Fox could have just sent him the same DM that Game Tech got, and that could have been it. No?
I know who it is.
Who told him that?
I think I have an idea. Let me rephrase that because I'm not Nostradamus. I have an idea of what's happening.
And also for the chat real quick while Tuba deliberates this. In the beginning it says, I was notified yesterday that there may be a personal threat against myself. Who do you guys think notified him? And Tuba, what do you got?
Well, we do have evidence that we've been shown by UAP Mike, who's whistleblown on several DM conversations that took place at different times between pretty much the same people about different targets and what they would do to these targets. We also have through DM evidence, photo evidence of a conversation that Uplifting Tweets was having with Gary Nolan, spreading the story that a host of a X Spaces was that Gary Nolan was a guest in. The host had had their nursing license removed for abusing the elderly. So then Uplifting Tweets referred Gary Nolan to the Luigi man himself, the plumber, in order to verify this. And we both know and have seen and have displayed and shown on the show and on Twitter and everything you can, this person is not to be trusted. There's several different instances where false accusations of very serious crimes have been thrown around by this same person. There are countless examples, all of which have been documented and are online to see how untrustworthy and lacking integrity this person is, and these people are. They're fabricating evidence against all kinds of things. What my gut tells me, only because we've been on the beat for a while with this stuff, is why wouldn't, in order to gain allegiance to some of these other people, why wouldn't they create a threat?
And then you know what? This might have to be its own other episode where we really deep dive the other angle of this, because there's a lot of evidence for that too in the past where something will happen, something will come up, it'll look like someone gets exposed, and then there's this for example, the Gary the Brave thing we just covered, right? When this dropped, like the next week, Linda Thompson was out on shows on behalf of Lou saying there's psyops on UFO Twitter. There are active agents in the UFO Twitter sphere that are doing horrible things to people.
It's weird.
Right? It's kind of crazy, but it's like, honestly, deep dive. People need their heroes. People love their heroes.
People need to open their goddamn eyes, though. Keep them open. I'm not making accusations. I'm just making observations. It's a suspicion that I have based on what I know. Not everybody has that information. Not everybody watches. But if you do watch Skyfire News, you know what we're talking about. There's some shady characters here who would go out on a limb, create a sock puppet account, make a threat, and then come in as the hero and be like, oh my God, we stopped that person. You know what I mean? And then now they position themselves as an in-between. Very interesting.
Mark Kyle says, threats are always verbal, not written down. Although in this thing, it's still a conditional verb, right? That there may be a personal threat against myself. He hasn't even really said I've been threatened, has he?
No. He said he was informed that there may be a personal threat against him.
A trust me bro on a conditional verb, which is fine. And again, like I said, Lou, put out more info. I will be in the human chain around your house. Me and Tupa will do Skyfire live from Wyoming. We will be there arm in arm with Uplifting Tweets defending you. But yeah, and like I said too, if this information could help other whistleblowers, I just think we need more info. And honestly, God bless Matt Ford. I think you need to talk about this on News Nation at least, if this is actually happening, right? That's not messed up to say, is it?
Well, I personally don't like Matt Ford or his show, like because he really, because of some weird stuff, right? Like, so outside of that, and I don't want to say weird stuff. It's not like, he cut me off in traffic and I got pissed. Matt Ford came in and verbally like backed up someone who was like straight up abusing, like and harassing and doxing and intimidating women with their own children. And he came into that space and backed that person up and said, I love you. I love everything you do. I think you're hilarious. And that was like, for me, that was kind of beyond the pale. So, I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit here. That really happened. All right. This guy's like women are like, hey, you did this to me. Like, admit you did it. And he's like, okay, I did. And then Matt Ford comes into the space and literally is like, yo, you're good. I love you, bro. It was so, and for a host of a well-known podcast. So yeah, that's all recorded too. So for me, I'm like, I don't know your judgment, but he is talking about this, and he's been talking about it for years, right, Red? He's been on the beat of UFOs for like decades, Matt Ford. Oh, no, wait, no. Less than a year, right? Or about a year? What's going on? What was he talking about before?
We're going to be coming up on 2 years, I think, in like November.
Okay. Well, good for him.
We're at like a year and some change, yeah.
And before that, he was a political YouTube pundit, and he interesting. He had like a PAC, right? Like a political action committee, standforbetter.org.
Yes.
That's interesting. So he goes from that suddenly over to UFOs.
Yeah.
And now, and I wonder who his first guests were, his first like supporters were. That's an interesting.
You know what's extra interesting too is like in very many ways he like replaced Lou Jimenez, Lou Reviews, as like the mouthpiece for like a lot of these people.
Really?
Very, very similar things and whatnot. I kind of just want to pull this up, but we're already kind of almost out of it just while we talk about him. But yeah, okay. So that's kind of that. You know what I mean? We're gonna for sure prayers for Lou. What's up, a girl named Tom? Hell yeah, glad you're here. Prayers for Lou. Prayers for Lou's family. Prayers for Matt Ford. Prayers for James Fox. Prayers for Sean Kirkpatrick. Prayers for Black Vault. Prayers for Sean Cahill.
Mm-hmm. Big time. Cahill and his router searches. Big ups. Big ups. I hope no harm should fall upon anyone looking up UFOs or about to give us information about UFOs that we've been asking for 80 years. Let the information flow, like I said, like the
Mark
spice
Kyle
of Arrakis.
says, Matt Ford has a lot of political contacts, ... He does get good inside info, ... He does say he is a Democrat, but on the subject, he is totally bipartisan. I'll give him credit for there. He does, like, go bipartisan when it comes to the UFO thing, so that's cool. Yeah. I just, honestly, Matt Ford, if you're watching this, just be careful, bro. Because you're kind of like, no one thinks it'll happen to them, but people, like, Lou Reviews was, like, literally you. And, like, look at what happened to him. Like, you do say the wrong thing. You don't trust the info. If you start being like, hey, I don't know if this is actually true, it'll flip on you, bro.
Bro, Matt Ford will never paint outside the lines. Ever.
You don't think so?
Dude,
what if he has a Lou Reviews level flip? That'd be wild. What if he goes whistleblower Matt Ford?
He can't because he doesn't have co-hosts and stuff on his show to like help him with being, with integrity and whatnot. Right? He's just riding it out himself. I mean, he might have a producer or whatever, right? But he's out there. I don't think he's ever gonna flip. I don't think he's ever gonna
step outside the line.
Hell no. He's bought and paid for. You know what I mean? Like the success of his show. Get the fuck. I mean, come on. Let's be fucking real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's be real. And the people he aligned himself with very early on, these are like down for lifers, right? Like these guys are harassed. These guys have done things where you're in or you're out. I mean, UAP Mike is shedding light on a lot of this stuff, right? So these circles aren't too far from one another. And I'm a conspiracy theorist. And I think that a lot of the things that are happening in UFO Twitter that are shitty are perpetrated by people who support that kind of behavior. And so far as I've seen it, not everybody's as careful with their choices out there. So, but I don't know what's happening with the show. Mad success to it. The dildo he kept showing was it Mitch McConnell's face? Yeah, that was interesting.
That was funny.
That was interesting.
Choice. All right, well, should we play this clip and then we'll probably close out? I see you have this down here. What is this?
If you find this world bad.
Okay, so check this out. This guy over here, Rizwan, he started talking about this multiple branch theory about the universe, right? That there could be multiple branching out options for these variables where these like timelines exist on top of one another. And I'm thinking like that sounds exactly like what Philip K. Dick was talking about. You know, Philip K. Dick is an author who wrote all these different kind of almost futurist novels that ended up turning into movies because they're so adaptable, they're so real almost.
What are some of his movies that I would know?
Total Recall.
Okay.
The Adjustment Bureau.
Oh, you know what I say about the Adjustment Bureau, right?
Blade Runner. What do you say about the Oh, yeah.
That Chris Bledsoe says, per his experiences, all of his experiences and all the getting abducted and asking, hey, what's this about, talking to the lady, that the Adjustment Bureau is one of the better representations of what his understanding of reality is and like what these entities are.
Exactly.
And how they move and how they interact with us.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. I mean, well, you got to think about it, right? Like, how would a two-dimensional being witness and view and perceive a three-dimensional entity interacting with it? That could, like, hop over a wall, right? Or go through a wall or go through the ground and come out the other side. Like, they wouldn't understand what they were seeing. And likewise, we're in the 3D world. And so those would happen, but they would happen in three dimensions. So even a hole would appear as a sphere, right? Because it's a translation. So you have all these different things. So the idea of walking through a door and out the other one, or adjusting and basically coming in from zero space into space and then out again. That's kind of what it's talking about, right? So that's the Adjustment Bureau. But yeah, we got Rizwan here, and he started talking, and I go, that's a lot like Philip K. Dick. And then he went on to reference Philip K. Dick. That these ideas of like parallel universes, because Philip went on to say this stuff. We'll see what he says. But yeah, I love that opening line is so cryptic. I love it. But check this out. Philip K. Dick, famous sci-fi author of a lot of your favorite films. Minority
Also,
Report.
Man in the High Castle, Zim says. That's interesting.
Very cool. It's very cool. Okay, check it out.
If you find this world bad, you should see some of the others. I, in my stories and novels, often write about counterfeit worlds, semi-real worlds, as well as deranged private worlds, inhabited often by just one person, while meantime the other characters either remain in their own worlds throughout or are somehow drawn into one of the peculiar ones. This theme occurs in the corpus of my 27 years of writing. At no time did I have a theoretical or conscious explanation for my preoccupation with these pluriform pseudo-worlds, but now I think I understand. What I was sensing was the manifold of partially actualized realities lying tangent to what evidently is the most actualized one, the one which the majority of us, by consensus gentium, agree on. If you've followed my conjectures about the overlapping of these alternate worlds, and you sense as I do the possibility that if there are 3 or 4 or 2, there may be 30 or 3,000 of them, and that some of us live in this one, others of us in another one, others in others, and that events on one track cannot be perceived by persons not in that track. Although originally I presumed that the differences between these worlds was caused entirely by the subjectivity of the various human viewpoints, it did not take me long to open the question as to whether it might not be more than that in fact plural realities did exist superimposed onto one another like so many film transparencies. What I still do not grasp, however, is how one reality out of the many becomes actualized in contradistinction to the others. Perhaps none does, or perhaps again it hangs on an agreement in viewpoint by a sufficiency of people. More likely the matrix world, the one with the true core of being, is determined by the programmer.
It's a trip. He's essentially just talking about how there's parallel universes that are side by side, not back to front. That time isn't just we're not just living through one track with all these slices through it that are moment to moment, that there's multiple tracks and they're so independent that you can't feel what happens on the other ones, but that you could, through either acts, concentration or what have you, you could transfer to them linearly or side by side. Now, Tom DeLonge said the same thing recently on Steve-O's Wild Ride, right? He said that Steve-O asked him, he said, why do you think UFOs are important? And he said, well, they're not coming from outer space. And then the co-host said they're coming for their time, like dimensions. He said, yeah, so time are the dimensions, and that all of these moments that have all of these possibilities, they exist on a certain electrical frequency, and that if you could change your frequency, you would automatically kind of slide over into that one, and you're there. And Philip K. Dick talks about that, how he found himself in a world or in a universe where Jesus had like lived. It's a trip, and he's like, yeah, that's like the best one. But he's found all these other ones, and so all of his sci-fi novels, he says those are memories, not just ideas. Yes, he's like, I lived these. I lived them. That's why they're so complete. That's why they're so real. And so yeah, it falls in line again with the simulation theory. Yeah.
You see Froggy in the chat saying, Philip K. Dick claimed on numerous occasions that a disembodied voice would pop up now and again to guide him through crucial moments in his life.
I believe that. Yeah, I believe that 100%.
Wow.
He's plugged.
Well, so yes, we do. When you covered yesterday, there's Vatican stuff coming up, and we did cover a bunch of stuff. But I think are we going to try and do it, Tupa?
Yeah, let's try to do it. Guys, follow us if you're not already. Sub to the channel. We might either go live or do some live reporting as the Vatican announces their press conference and starts it this morning or tomorrow morning around 3 a.m. West Coast time. So if you're up then, it'll be 6 a.m. actually, if you're on the East Coast. So if you're up then tomorrow morning, tune in. Follow us on Twitter. Like I said, like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be covering it because we're super interested. And so what the Vatican's going to be announcing is their new kind of policy or read on how to discern certain apparitions and paranormal events, like the Marian apparition, which is the vision of the Mother Mary, which occurs often, right? And so, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, people are suspecting that they're going to kind of help us determine what's what, but it seems so big. They're doing a lot of press for it. It's a big announcement. The Pope's involved. Like for me, I say, hey, this might be new information. This might be interesting.
Yeah, maybe we'll get Logan Black on Late Night Crew. Oh, actually, who else said they might come on is UAP Mike. He's like, I'm Catholic. I could wake up at 6 a.m. I could be down for that. So,
oh hell yeah,
we have a little bit of a watch party with it, which would be cool.
That actually would be great. Yeah, we might do a live reaction.
We're all hyping it up, and we're just gonna be like snoring our asses off at 3.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty then, Tupa.
All right, man. Katie Hallen, don't sue me, bro. All right, guys.
Talk to you guys later.
Peace.
In contact in the desert, won't give an icy bitch my sweater. Those star seeds have some kind of internal temperature regulation system or some shit. Move back, Travis, walk, nothing go way too high. Think I just saw Michael A. Black in the back doing lines. Where the fuck is Kimball? Where the hell is Red Solo Saw Craft over Ashton's bed? Melinda Les's space, I got 6 green lasers, and I'm pointing in that space, and I'm fucked up, and I'm fucked up, and I'm fucked up. I made contact in the desert, had nearly an adventure. I thought star seeds had some kind of internal temperature regulation system or some shit. And I'm way too high to peek and I'm shooting on lizards like that she had. Data she had thinks that reptilians are hot. Maybe not. My birthday, friends all around. I should feel lucky. I looked at my phone and seen that Gary Nolan blocked me. What the hell? How does he even know about me? The cake comes out, everyone is smiling. I know I should be happy too, but I'm dying. I'm fucking dying. 'Cause Gary Nolan blocked me. Tell me why he shared Chris Bartell's brain scan. friends all around. I should feel lucky, but I looked at my phone and seen that Gary Nolan blocked me. What the hell? How does he even know about me? The cake comes out, everyone is smiling. I know I should be happy too,